The Nelk boys and Andrew Schulz are currently in some beef. But before that, guys, I appreciate if you hit that sub button or like the video. I'm on my way to 300 subscribers. I think I'm at like 207 right now, but I appreciate everyone that's sub. But let's get right into this. Alright, so this all got blown up from the Nelk boys manager going on a podcast and explaining that they had to not really delete, but they didn't post a certain podcast, and he went on to explain it was with Andrew Schulz and that they went at Steiny, right? So then this whole drama about how it's been like people were saying release it or whatever, and the Nelk boys addressed it on their podcast and they said they don't care, but they don't think they can post it because Steve Will Do It was in the podcast. And then Andrew Schulz went on his podcast and he went on to explain basically everything that happened, and he told them like with his permission he allowed them to like upload it, but I think they already planned on uploading, but they just gave them like the green light to do it. So they ended up uploading it, right? I don't even know what they posted on or whatever. I was just seeing it on some TikToks where. So Andrew Schulz is basically apparently going at Steiny, but what I got from it is that Steiny is really insecure, and he felt like he got attacked, and he really wanted to know why Andrew Schulz didn't like him. He's like a pick me, bro. If I met Steiny in real life, bro, I would not fuck with that dude, bro. He's a little cornball. To be honest, everyone in Nelk to me is a little corny. I mean, I like Steve Will Do It probably the most, and Bradley Martin's kind of cool, but they all have a little corniness, little frat boy vibe to them. I hate that. I'm not gonna lie. If you act like that, stay away from me. I'm sorry, but if you act like that, stay away from me. They only care about like one thing: partying, girls, and money. Well, I mean, a lot of people only care about that, but I'm just saying like how they perceive things, it just seems very weird. And I used to watch them all the time when they used to do their pranks and stuff, but they've kind of veered away from their prank type things and they're more focused on like the podcast. I do like to see some clips sometimes of the podcast, but if you've I've tried to watch one podcast from them recently. I tried to sit down and watch it. In their podcast, they do not know how to ask questions at all. They are asking bare minimum questions, and when Andrew Schulz started getting like bare minimum questions, he said he felt like they didn't even know him, and then he felt like he was like forcing them to do the podcast. Well, it seems like they don't really do. I mean, they might probably do some research, but they're not really going fully in depth. It's not like a Joe Rogan. He's probably expecting like a Joe Rogan podcast because he's probably used to being like, all right, so I'm gonna get fully in depth questions, we're gonna have serious conversations. But he basically said that he felt like he was forcing them to do the podcast because they weren't really asking certain questions that like would be, it's like, it was like, have you ever heckled someone? Bro, it's a comedian. Like, have you ever got heckled? Like, come on, like, what are you talking about? So he does a podcast, so he fully understands what it takes to do a podcast, and he was probably wondering why these people have such a big podcast, and especially Steiny has literally no talent at all. I don't even know where he came from. How he got on the Nelk Boys podcast literally makes no sense to me, but I'll put a couple clips of the podcast if I can find it or whatever. But thank you guys for watching. I just want to talk about this real quick. And Steiny, if you're watching this, you a hoe. I'm not gonna lie.